Hello everyone. Welcome to Brick Academy. You're watching candid conversations with industry experts, where we bring to you unfiltered, insightful, and inspiring conversations with leaders who have shaped the pharmaceutical world, redefined success, and break some of the barriers. I am Mihir Pujara, your host for today's podcast. And before we begin, some hygiene announcement. I would urge all of you to kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow our LinkedIn page to stay updated with more such insightful conversations. Now, before we dive in, I would like to start today's conversation with a quote. A ship is safe at its harbor, but that is not what a ship is built for. Today, I'm extremely privileged to joined by an expert who has sailed beyond the safe harbors and curated a unique journey, started from India, then to UK, and then to Germany, where he's currently serving a role of head of franchise head EU, Oncology and Osteoporosis at Sandoz. Sagar Panseriya is a name synonymous with strategic excellence in pharmaceutical industry. With over 15 years of experience spanning marketing, insights and analytics, business planning and finance, Sagar has mastered the art of blending data, business acumen, and leadership to make an everlasting impact. With that, without further ado, let me welcome Sagar Panseriya to Brick Academy. Welcome, Sagar, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mayor, for the kind words. And please excuse a little bit of coughing. I'm still recovering from flu. So, yep. No, thank you so much for the kind words. Looking forward to the conversation.
No, perfectly fine. Sagar, for the viewers, let's set the context first. And if you can, I have already summarized a brief about you, but why don't we start with some of the roles that you have served during your corporate journey and the organizations that you have worked for?
Yeah. I have actually worked only in three organizations broadly. Yeah. So I started with a small consulting company and then moved to Novartis. And since then, I was part of Novartis. And then recently, a lot of us already know that Sandoz, which was a division within Novartis, separated as an independent company. And now I'm part of Sandoz. So I have broadly worked only in these three organizations. But I have worked in different roles and different functions within these two organizations, and that's what has really kind of helped me to grow as an individual, but also in my professional journey. My initial days were all about consulting and insights and analytics. That's what I started in my first job, but also that's where I started in Novartis. And then I had the opportunity to work a little bit in the finance field as well. Now it's more operations finance, not the corporate finance. That actually led me to my international career and my next opportunity within the marketing function. When I moved to UK, that's what I worked on. But then I had to come back to India for some personal reasons, and that's where I went back again into the insights and analytics, but in a completely different kind of business within Novartis. And eventually, I had the opportunity to work on the biosimilars business and back to marketing. So for me, it's in and out between insights and analytics and marketing, and in between, I had a transition period in the finance as well.
Yeah, no, so very interesting. And I would like to touch a brief on your cross-functional experience. So I would like to know that how a cross-functional experience really help in shaping your corporate journey. Vis-a-vis, right? Somebody who is expert in one area, example forecasting or analytics, and then growing vertically across. But then how this cross-functional experience, and especially in finance, has helped shape your career.
Yeah, I think, see, from my perspective, when you work in different functions, it really helps you to see elephant from different angles
Yeah.
and build a more kind of different perspective on the same picture. And that actually has happened with me as well. With working in these different functions has really shaped me to look at any particular situation or environment from different perspective. When I look at marketing, I end up working with different functions within the organization, and that really helps me to understand how everything fits together and how all of us together are helping our external customers, our healthcare stakeholders, patients, but also the organization overall. When I was working in finance, it really helped me to understand how different priorities and the activities that you really work on ultimately contributes to the final performance of the organization. And that's where you see that maybe now you don't see an impact of an activity, but when it rolls up, it actually contributes to the organization performance at the end. And when I look at the insights and analytics experience that I had, it really taught me to break down a situation, a problem into smaller chunks, and really find out which chunk is critical to address, when to address, how to address, and really break down one big problem into smaller problems and then take it part by part. And I think that can be quite efficient approach. And I think that's what a lot of consulting companies take as an approach as well.
Completely agree. Now, so in terms of working together, right? So there is a technical aspect of it, truly understood. Now there is a people aspect of it, right? And you have worked in India, then completely in a different geography. So at a professional and personal level, right? Working across different geographies and different cultures, what do you think about it? I mean, did you face challenges, and what were your experience on that?
I think when you look at every individual in any organization, you would see that most of them, I would say most of them, want to do good for themselves and want to do good for the organization. I think we need to trust it. Yeah. And we need to enable them to do so. Yeah. And I think it's mutual. I want people also to trust my intention, my willingness to do better for the organization, for myself. And then I also look for enablers when I'm stuck. And similarly, I think it's the same for the others as well. They want to do good, and they also look for enablers that can help them to do good. And I think that really, when this mutual understanding and mutual trust is there, that really helps people to work together.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, no, this is also one of the aspects that I wanted to touch upon, that in a leadership role, right? How do you get the best out of the people, right? You emphasize certain points, but I would like to know more, right? In your current leadership role, working with different people from different cultures, what are some of the practices that you implement to get the best out of different teams?
Yeah. See, I think the first one I already mentioned, the trust component. And then I think it's also important to understand the aspirations of the people that you're working with, and then find opportunities wherever you can help them to work on those aspirations. I think people look for challenges, and if you're able to provide them with those challenges and then help them to deliver on those challenges, and I think that really can bring the best out of people.
Great, great. So I would like to now switch bit of a gears and talk about the most exciting area in pharmaceutical industry right now, and that is the oncology, where you have a
Mhm.
wealth of experience, right? So a lot of advancement in terms of targeted therapies to CAR T. How do you see the entire oncology landscape is going to evolve in next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I find oncology space really, really interesting and really, really exciting. Not just because it's always a hot cake everyone wants to be part of, but also I think now the kind of impact
Yeah.
that we make on the patient's life is tremendous. Yeah, and I have been fortunate to work on one of the tyrosine kinase inhibitors. It's one of the miracle in the cancer therapies, but also I had the opportunity to work on CD19 based cell therapy, a latest advancement in the cancer field as well. And I see that increasingly we are trying to address the cancers in a more targeted, in a more personalized way, and that is really delivering better outcomes. You look at the latest clinical trial results. We are increasingly making the survival better. The side effect profiles are kind of much more manageable in many cases. As well. I think that's the road ahead as well. Additionally, if you look at how we are addressing the cancer subtypes, that's interesting as well. We are now even targeting the rare cancer subtypes, and also trying to help a small patient population with that subtype, which probably, if you look at 15 years back, probably the only options they had was chemotherapy and some of the other treatments. But now you see that they are looking at their physicians at the pharmaceutical industry to find solutions for themselves, for that smaller patient groups. And I think this is where the oncology field is moving. Immunotherapy is doing it, cell therapy is doing it, also radioligand is quite a talk these days as well.
Very interesting. So now I would not also shy away to ask you your opinion and perspective about the buzzword in the industry, and that is AI. So, how you see AI is going to transform the pharmaceutical industry, and especially this high-cost therapy areas? What's your perspective? You are on the positive side of AI. You are on the other side of AI, and how do you see this is going to unfold?
Yeah, I think see AI is going to be there. It's here to stay. So I think there's no way we can really part away from it or stay away from it. And in that case, I think it's always better to progress with it. Yeah. Um,
Sure.
the way I see AI is influencing industry is it is making everything easily accessible, fast to process, and easy to interpret. Yeah, and that is really influencing how we strategize and how we implement things, and it can be on a in a drug development side, but also on a commercialization side. So I think these days, if you look at the strategies, I think they are much more informed uh, with the help of AI in many cases than maybe 10, 15 years back.
No, I think so. Very relevant point. And since you emphasized on strategic decision making, right? So my next question would be, say you have wealth of experience, right, in making and forming commercial strategies in different roles. So somebody who is at a mid-senior level and want to transition into a strategic leadership role, what advice would you like to give to the professionals who are maximally at a mid-senior level or at a managerial level?
Yeah. No, I think, see, first of all, I would request everyone to not think that their role is not strategic and their role doesn't include leadership. I think every role, every piece of work that we do has an element of strategy in it, and everyone has to demonstrate leadership in their own kind of responsibilities and the activities that they work on. So I think every role has strategy and leadership elements into it. But I think when I look at myself, every time when I moved from one level to another or one role to another one, I always looked for incremental responsibilities. Yeah. And when you look for incremental responsibilities, you actually move from one level to another one. If you look for the same kind of responsibilities in the same environment, in the same function, then you might probably feel stuck at some time. But if you keep looking for additional or incremental responsibilities, then you knowingly or unknowingly keep taking a step up. So that's, I think, something I would request or suggest to people out there, that look for those additional responsibilities, look for those incremental responsibilities. It can come from the same function, it can come from the other functions as well, but then you look for that. The other thing that I would suggest is, understand what are the transferable skills that you carry, because you have technical skills that you leverage. You can also learn new technical skills, but I think this transferable skill is where you put a founding stone in your early career, and you keep improving, you keep building on it, and that really then takes you to kind of leadership roles and more strategic roles later on.
Yeah, super. No, I think your entire journey also resonates what you have spoken about, taking the incremental responsibility. So now I would like to cater some of the aspiring pharma professionals who want to build the career in pharma. And right now we are at a verge of having a lot of information and choices. So you have marketing, you have R&D, you have medical affairs, you have pharmacovigilance. In commercial as well, you have very specific substreams, and it is very confusing for a new pharmaceutical professional, right, to which direction he or she should choose. So what is your advice for somebody who wants to build a career in pharma to identify a roadmap for himself?
This is a tricky one. It's not easy. I think now, until you get into it, you don't really fully understand whether you are fit for that function, that role, or that environment or not. So I think before they start the career, I would suggest these individuals to be informed, understand what's out there. It may not be easy to understand whether you are fit for that or that is fit for you, but at least build that understanding. What's out there, what are different options, where you can go, what are different directions you can take. I think that's really important. Talk to people who are in the industry for some time in different area, maybe research or commercial or other different functions. That will really help you understand what different directions you can take with your background. Yeah. And then once you get into one direction, I would say, in the early days, try to understand whether you are enjoying it. Do you see a longer career path in it or not? And then you can, in the early, like 3 to 5 years of your, yeah, of the career, you can maneuver into different directions, experiment with yourself in different functions, in different roles. And I think eventually you'll figure out what you like within the industry and where you want to go ahead with. But there's no clear algorithm here. Unfortunately, maybe AI can help to figure out what will work for you, for you in the long run. Yeah, it's a process, I would say. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, and the key to this process is staying informed.
True, true. And if I just reflect upon your career journey that you have articulated, right? So, at which point in your career you see that as a decision-making point where you were really sure that now I need to go after this particular role or in this direction?
That was actually back in 2013, when 2012, 2013, when I started doing more of a financial analytics and financial operations, and less of the commercial insights and analytics. Now that was a transition period for me in my Novartis role, and that really helped me to work more with the senior stakeholders. That also helped me to transition into international career. Now took me to UK and eventually to marketing as well. I think that was a pivotal point, I would say, in my career, where I had to make an important decision. Do I want to continue in insights and analytics and kind of build my further build my strength there, or do I take a slightly different path here, add more of a financial function to this as well, and then see how it evolves. And I'm happy that I took the decision, to do that financial part in between, and that has really helped me in my career forward as well. And I also want to thank, a couple of mentors that I had during that time. I was working with a stakeholder in the Nordic countries, and then also my then manager in Novartis. I think they were really, really helpful to me in making that decision. So I want to take this opportunity to also thank them.
No, that's a bold and unique move actually. So usually the pharma people, considering very technical and scientific, they stay away from
Yeah.
the finance side of affairs, right? But I mean,
Right.
getting knowledge about finance would really help you, right, to understand what a leader is going through and how different commercial decisions are being made.
Yeah.
So that's very well put. So now, Sagar, we have a very interesting section which is called rapid fire round, right? Where I'm going to ask you some fun questions to know a bit more about you and your
Yeah.
perspectives, right? So let's
Mhm.
get started. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So first question, describe pharma industry in one word.
Exciting.
Mhm. What's one thing you wish you knew when you were just starting your corporate journey?
There's life beyond the office.
Exciting. Okay. Three words that describe your work style.
Ah, collaborative, structured, and um, planning.
Okay. If you would not have pursued pharma, what you could have been.
I would have been an engineer, because
Okay.
I actually came to pharma because of the C programming language. Um, I started my graduation in engineering, and then I was so
Oh,
scared of C programming language. So when I had the opportunity, I moved to pharmacy.
great. One misconception about working in pharma industry that you often come across.
That's an interesting one. Um, it's all about profit.
Very well. Uh, a leader in pharma or maybe beyond who has inspired you the most. Could be one, could be many.
And there's one. Her name is Meeta Ganatra. It was my early career, I would say. I mean, it was still less than 5 years, I would say. And I learned a lot looking at how she was managing different things.
Boss or leader? What's the fine line that separates them?
Trust, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. One cultural difference between India and Germany that surprised you.
Work-life balance.
Okay. Mm, indeed. What's a habit or routine that always help you to stay productive?
I would talk about last few years is managing the email load. I have certain way of doing it, and it has always helped me to be productive.
Great. Innovation or execution? Which one gets overlooked, but it is critical?
I think execution, I would say, is sometimes overlooked, but I think nothing beats an effective execution.
Great. Okay. Multitasking or laser focus? What is your secret weapon?
I would say multitasking.
Yeah, and it is a need of an hour as well.
Yeah.
This is very important as a leader, right? Who is making decisions day in and day out. So data or instinct, what drives better decisions sometimes in pharma?
Data help makes you aware, but then I think your instinct are equally important. That's where you have the conviction.
Great. Okay. Work smarter or work harder? Now this is difficult. Which one is actually achievable?
Both are achievable. I would say think smart, work hard.
Yes, truly agree. And last but not the least, bit of a spiritual question, but how you define success?
Journey. It's a journey. I think if you think you have achieved it, then there is no further progress. So I think it's a journey with milestones.
Great. Okay. So you have passed the rapid fire round with flying
Thank
colors.
you.
And thank you so much for all the inputs. So here comes the end of the podcast. And thank you so much, Sagar, for taking out time and joining us for this wonderful conversation happening on a Friday. So wish you a wonderful evening and happy weekend.